Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. We're continuing to read in the chapter of Salat al-Jum'ah, the Friday prayer. We finished some of the etiquettes and virtues of Friday in general in the last class from yesterday. The next part talks about doing Sunnah, doing voluntary optional prayers before and after the Jum'ah. Before the Jum'ah, a person can just do, when he comes to the masjid, he can do 2 rak'at and 2 rak'at until the Imam comes for the khutbah. There's a hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah. This is in Sahih Muslim. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من اغتسل ثم أتى الجمعة فصلى ما قدر له ثم أنصت حتى يفرغ من خطبته ثم يصلي معه غفر له ما بينه وبين الجمعة الأخرى وفضل 3 أيام. The meaning is that whoever does the wash for the Jum'ah, the Friday, which is strongly recommended or obligatory based on different opinions, he comes and then he prays. Here this prayer that is mentioned here is a prayer of voluntary prayers, 2 rak'at and 2 rak'at. Then when the Imam comes, he listens till the khutbah is done, then he prays with the Imam. Allah will forgive his sins between the Friday and the Friday plus 3 days. في some narrations of this hadith, وَمَنْ مَسَّ الْحَصَى فَقَدْ لَغَى. Whoever fidgets with things in the masjid such as pebbles or stones, he's wasted his khutbah because he's supposed to listen attentively.
In telephone, what if
he shouldn't play with anything, telephone or anything else. No. نافع, he's a servant of Ibn Umar. He says كان ابن عمر يطيل الصلاة قبل الجمعة ويصلي بعدها ركعتين في بيته ويحدث أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يفعل ذلك. Ibn Umar used to pray lots before Jum'ah. Then he used to do 2 rak'at after he finishes Jum'ah in his house, and he used to mention that Prophet ﷺ used to do that. Imam Nawawi says it is the opinion of most scholars to do optional prayers before Jum'ah. Madhab al-Jumhur, Madhab al-Shafi'i أيضا. And there's no limit to this. Whatever you can do 4, 6, 10, of course, divided in 2 rak'at and 2 rak'at. After Jum'ah, there's a hadith in Sahih Muslim عن أبي هريرة قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا صلى أحدكم الجمعة فليصلي بعدها 4. عن نافع عن عبد الله أنه كان إذا صلى الجمعة انصرف فسجد السجدتين في بيته ثم قال كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يصنع ذلك قرأناه. عن سالم عن أبيه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يصلي بعد الجمعة ركعتين. So Ibn Umar says the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم used to pray 2 rak'at and used to do them in the house. But there's a hadith by Abu Hurairah that the Prophet ﷺ said that whoever prays Jumu'ah, he can do, or he should do. It's preferable that he does after it 4 rak'at. That means 2 and 2. Imam Nawawi says this shows that it is very much encouraged to do Sunnah after Jumu'ah. And the least is 2. Of course, and the best is 4. The best is 4 and the least is 2. Now, some scholars said that if you're going to do it in the house, you can do 2. If you're going to do masjid, do 4. To try to reconcile between the two. But maybe Prophet ﷺ is giving the verbal advice to the best sunnah after Jum'ah, which is 4. Maybe this is the way to go. But also, if you follow the hadith of Ibn Umar, it's also okay to do 2 rak'at after. Doing sunnah of تحية المسجد during the khutbah. جابر بن عبد الله narrates قال بين النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يخطب يوم الجمعة إذ جاء رجل فقال له النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أصليت يا فلان قال لا قال قم فاركع. This hadith narrated by Imam Bukhari and Muslim. في رواية إذا جاء أحدكم يوم الجمعة والإمام يخطب فليركع ركعتين وليتجوز فيهما. Very clear that the sunnah of تحية المسجد, salutation for the masjid, this Tahiyyat al-Masjid is Sunnah. You do it even if the Imam is doing the khutbah, but you do it quickly. You shorten those 2 rak'at. You don't have to make it an extended salah. Okay, to the extent the Prophet ﷺ, actually during the khutbah, he saw a man come and sit down, and he asked him, "Did you do 2 rak'at?" He said, "No." He said, "Get up and do 2 rak'at," showing him the best way to do it. Yani, even he clearly stated. So this is confirmed by his sunnah fi'liya and sunnah qawliya. Practically, he did it when he commanded him, and verbally he says, if you come and the imam is doing khutbah, do 2 rak'at and make them short. Okay, so, and these are very clear ahadith. First one is in Bukhari and Muslim, this one is in Sahih Muslim. Of course, the Jum'ah is fard, obligatory on men specifically. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع. And it is very strongly prohibited to miss the Jum'ah. There's a hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ says, أنهما سمعا عبد الله بن عمر وأبو هريرة سمعا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول على أعواد منبره لينتهين أقوام عن ودعهم الجمعات أو ليختمن الله على قلوبهم ثم لا يكونون من الغافلين. Hadith narrated by Imam Muslim. Prophet ﷺ one time on the minbar says, people who miss the Jum'ah should stop, should refrain from that, or Allah would seal their hearts and they would become heedless. May Allah save us. عن أبي هريرة أنه سمع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول نحن الآخرون السابقون يوم القيامة بيد أنهم أوتوا الكتاب من قبلنا ثم هذا اليوم الذي فرض عليهم فاختلفوا فيه فهدانا الله إليه فهدانا الله فالناس لنا فيه تبع اليهود غدا والنصارى بعد غد. Also the hadith من ترك 3 جمعين تهاونا بها طبع الله على قلبه. Whoever forsakes 3 Jum'ah basically in a row out of carelessness and disregard for the Jum'ah, Allah would seal his heart. So it's supported by this hadith as well, although this second hadith is not in such authentic books as Bukhari and Muslim. It's in Sahih Abu Dawood and Nasa'i Ibn Majah and Tirmidhi, but still it is strongly supported by the previous hadith. There's no difference in the meaning between them. Now this following hadith is important because this hadith is frequently quoted to talk about Salat al-Jama'ah, although there's narrations that indicate the Prophet ﷺ was talking about Jum'ah. Listen to this hadith. عن عبد الله أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لقوم يتخلفون عن الجمعة لقد هممت أن آمر رجلا يصلي بالناس ثم أحرق على رجال يتخلفون عن الجمعة بيوتهم. Hadith in Sahih Muslim. This hadith, Prophet ﷺ talked about people who don't come for Jum'ah. He says, I almost felt like asking someone to lead the salah in my place. Then I would go to people who do not attend Jum'ah and burn their houses, of course, as a punishment. Of course, he did not do that because, of course, he's just saying it's a strong warning, but he would never do that because it is forbidden, of course, to demolish property or to expose people to danger and all this stuff. But this hadith is strongly quoted by people who tell us or consider the Salat al-Jama'ah in general, all the congregational prayers, as obligatory. They strongly quote this hadith because some narrations talk about Jama'ah, not Jumu'ah. Okay, so there's difference in the wording of the hadith, but probably this applies to Jumu'ah, not to Jama'ah, because we talked about this in more detail before. Remember, Salat al-Jama'ah, that the stronger opinion is that it's not obligatory. It's the Madhab al-Hanbali that it is obligatory, but other scholars many other scholars do not agree with that, and there's many pieces of evidence that indicate that it is not obligatory. It's very strongly recommended. It's a very strong sunnah. It could be fard kifaya. It could be an obligation on the community they have to establish jama'ah, otherwise we all fall into sin. But to make it obligatory on each individual, it becomes very harsh, and it's too strict and not very practical. It's just not practical. How can somebody not miss? How can somebody, if he misses one salah in jama'ah without a strong excuse, then he has fallen into sin. It makes things very difficult for the people. We'll take maybe one more point about Jum'ah. The Jum'ah on the Musafir, جمهور العلماء على المسافر ليس عليه جمعة. The traveler does not have to do Jumu'ah, of course, if he's traveling outside of town. And that is based on the fact that Prophet ﷺ used to travel with his companions and not do the Jumu'ah during traveling. وقال العلماء في هذا الأمر قال مالك لا جمعة على مسافر. وقال زفر إن كان مريضا، يعني في مذهب الإمام مالك، إن كان مريضا أو مسافرا ففرضه الظهر. basically ذهب أكثر أهل العلم منهم الأئمة الأربعة من أن المسافر ليس عليه جمعة، وهو ما أرجحه لحديث جابر المتقدم. Let's read حديث جابر. فين حديث جابر؟ I thought this was حديث جابر. حديث جابر في الحج حتى أتى عرفة فصلى الظهر ثم أقام فصلى العصر. نعم. This عرفة، يوم عرفة، it's very famous, of course. It just happened to be what kind of day? It was a Friday, correct? That's it. We know that for sure, that it was a Friday. And Prophet ﷺ prayed Dhuhr and prayed Asr and did not establish Jum'ah, although it was very easy to establish Jum'ah because everybody was there actually. So the biggest Jama'ah congregation possible was right there. So that's a very strong piece of evidence. But scholars say that if you are so this is if some people are traveling together, they do Dhuhr and Asr if they are out of town. But if you happen to be traveling into a town, you're a traveler, but you happen to go to Calgary or happen to go to Cairo or Beirut or anywhere, Baghdad, and they're praying Jumu'ah, you go and pray Jumu'ah. You go and pray Jumu'ah. And of course, unless you are passing by or something, but if you are residing in that town, you go and do the Jumu'ah. And they applied the same rules of the Musafir actually to that. If you go to a town, they applied the same rules, the same madhahib. Imam Abu Hanifa considers you residing if you plan to stay, even with the intention of staying more than 15 days. Imam Shafi'i and Malik, they say 4 days. So they say if you happen to be in a town and you plan to stay for such a long period of time, then from the beginning you're one of the people of this town. You should pray Jumu'ah because you hear the adhan and you're capable of going for that. But if you happen to be in the Badiyah, out in the desert, then you don't have to. If a group of people are traveling together out of town, they don't have to do Jumu'ah. And as we said before, the strongest opinion as to whether you consider yourself a traveler or not once you settle in a town is basically your general situation. Is it a situation of somebody who is a traveler or passerby, or is it somebody who is settled in that town? Does he have enough attachments to this place, like a house, family, job, all these attachments? Even in Western countries, like if you want to file for non-resident status, what do? You have to prove you have no attachments. In Canada, for instance, you have to prove you don't have a bank account, you don't have a car, you don't have a house. If they find that you have one of those things, no, you're a resident, you have to pay taxes. So stop here.
I have two questions.
No.
If Salat al-Jum'ah comes on a day of Eid.
Yes.
Like I said about Arafah, but just to say Eid Fitr, Eid Adha.
Yes.
I've heard controversy, but most of the time there's no Jum'ah. Is that correct or no?
Yes. If Salat al-Jum'ah happens on a day of Eid and we do Salat al-Eid in the morning, then it's optional for the people who attended Salat al-Eid to attend or not to attend Jumu'ah. But the community has to still establish a Jumu'ah. And the Imam, so this is for the followers of the Imam, they have the option of not attending the Jumu'ah, but the Imam has to. Prophet ﷺ clearly stated that whoever has prayed Eid, he may or may not pray Jumu'ah with us. وَإِنَّا مُجَمِّعُونَ. But we will pray Jumu'ah. We will pray Jumu'ah. We will still establish Jumu'ah for whoever missed on Eid or whoever wants to pray both salawat. It is fine. But those people who are not going to do Jumu'ah have to do what? Zuhr. They have to do Dhuhr, of course. And that is because they've already attended the khutbah. So there is no need for another khutbah. It's not necessary for another khutbah. But if they attend, it's even better. Now.
Just another question.
No, absolutely.
some Muslim countries, they take Friday off as a holiday.
Yes.
So, like, Saturday, Sunday, they take Friday. So, and if the government tries to change, they're up in arms, like, this is our holiday.
Yes.
If you read the verses, like, people work, that will invite.
Absolutely.
People are working.
Absolutely.
And after double fadl min Allah.
Exactly.
So it's not supposed to be a holiday. Is that?
Yeah, there's nothing in Sharia that says we have to take it as a holiday. But if we're going to take a holiday anyhow in the week, maybe in the past people didn't have weekends or holidays; they just worked throughout the week, maybe. But if we're going to take a day off, what is for Muslim countries? What is the most appropriate day to take off? Would be Jum'ah, to give people even more time for tabkir, ghusl al-Jum'ah, spending time with families, visiting each other, doing Qira'at Surah Al-Kahf. There's just so many other rites and etiquettes of Jum'ah that we want to do, would make it difficult if you're working that day. And also doing Sa'at al-Ijabah, to make the dua from Asr to Maghrib, to catch Sa'at al-Ijabah. It just makes it much easier. But if it's not, if the Hakim or the ruler doesn't allow for that for some reason, but allows them to go for it, but he at least has to allow them enough time. If they're going to work, allow them enough time, maybe 1 hour before, to get back home, change their clothes, do the ghusl, come for Jum'ah, then come back for work. Give them at least 2 hours. That's the very least. He has to give them some time to do at least the obligatory part of the Jum'ah. I know recently in Abu Dhabi or in Emirates, they did that. They changed from Jum'ah, and they said, no, instead of Jum'ah and Saturday, Friday and Saturday, we're going to make it Saturday and Sunday off. So why they choose Saturday and Sunday? That makes no sense. You basically regarded the holidays of the Jews and the Christians, and they say it's for worldly reason, world economy, and it makes sense. From the worldly point of view, yes, but there's total disregard for the religion here. Yes, the banks are closed all over the world, for instance, Saturday and Sunday, and they want to go with that. Transactions are not happening during that time. There's worldly benefit in that. But for instance, Imarat al-Shariqa, they stated, okay, we will follow the general law that was announced by the government, the federal government, but we as a separate emirate, we're also going to give Jum'ah. Now they have 3 days. So if you want to go to Shariqa. And the same pay.
They work extra hours.
What?
They work extra hours.
No, they not work extra hours.
Really?
Yes. Yes, this is a gift from the Amir of Shariqa. His wife actually put it on Twitter. They said, okay, we will follow. Shariqa, they're very conservative, by the way. The ruler is very conservative too, as opposed to the rest of the Emirates. But they're still part of that union. They're still part of that union. So it's okay, we'll follow your rule, and we have another rule here. Safi, inshallah.
What's interesting is call worldwide to have 4-day work week, not 5 days.
Sorry?
There's a push to have 4 days.
Absolutely.
Not 5.
I think that would be very good for the people.
I understand that France somehow that they have for this work.